Test. Okay, welcome everyone, k.d. here. So yesterday's streams didn't work as I hoped it would do. One moment, which one? Okay, sorry about that. Now everything. Okay. Yeah, yesterday's stream didn't work as I had planned, or the stream had some troubles absolutely with pictures. That's why I'm moving my dummy here around, and look how smooth it is. I put down the bitrate quite a bit, so the image itself, it's a little bit more it's worse than before, but I hope now everything works smoother. Yeah, I mean, it's still stuttering a little bit. I don't think I really can change anything about that. Putting down the bitrate even more, then you don't see anything anymore. But it's better than yesterday. So I will try today like streaming like this, and if I see that it doesn't work, I will take a break from streaming and do edited videos for a while until I have some better hardware. Anyway, yesterday we made this test dummy here, and I'm quite happy how it worked out, because it was the first time I did it like this, and came out better than I honestly expected. Of course, it's not perfect. So I was thinking, what should I do for today? Should I just move on? Should I just move on and sorry about that. Should I just move on from yesterday, and then I thought, no, I will redo everything, the stream from yesterday, so I have better quality, a stream that has a little bit better quality than the one yesterday, because the one yesterday, whole time it was just too much breaks between images, so there was sometimes like almost 10 seconds that nothing happened on the screen. So it kind of looks like better right now. So I won't do the same thing, exactly the same thing. I was thinking about doing a female character instead. This one is a male. There are a couple of differences with female characters. I could, because this one is extremely simple, I could go from here to the female character with some little changes, but then I had the feeling first I still need practice here in Blender in 3D. So doing it over again won't be too bad. Also, the second thing I think, besides that, I kind of want this project. It should be. I want to put as much effort as possible in it and don't take any shortcuts. So doing so, sometimes the longer way, I think, will end in the better result. And then the last thing is kinda, I absolutely did nothing from the side view, how should I say it? This is not a very natural pose, because our spine is not straight. Our spine goes from here a little bit back, then forward, and then again, and then back again. So the upper torso should be bent a little bit forward, and this the part under it should also be a little bit bent here. And I will do that with the new character. So if you were already yesterday in the stream and you don't want to watch it again, so yesterday I had around 2 hours until I was finished, but yesterday it was the first time I did that, so today I think it will be faster. I also won't explain everything so much in detail like I did yesterday. Just moving things a little bit around and see on my phone how smooth it is. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think we can live with that. Yeah, so I would say because I will explain a lot less about what I'm doing, I will keep up the other stream if you want a little bit more explanation. I mean, on Twitch it will go away over time, but on YouTube you can still find the stream. So maybe an hour, and then we jump into Unreal Engine. I will take a short break because I don't have Unreal Engine open right now, just to save some resources. Yesterday I had everything open, and I think that also interfered with the stream. So yeah, and then I will, things I wanted to do yesterday, I will again show you how to import your skeletal mesh into Unreal Engine, then we will create the play character. So first we will create the play character, then we will set up the movements. So very basic movements, so just moving around and moving the camera around. That's everything we will do, and then I will show you how to switch the main character skin, so we don't have to do more than one play character, even if you have more than one skin for the player character. That's pretty useful. And then lastly, I will show you how to create a save file, how you can save in Unreal Engine, what's the best way, or in my opinion the best way to do it, because there are many ways to do it. Yeah, and then I probably also have to do some level, just a test level, and then that's all for today. So maybe the stream will be probably between 2 and 3 hours, something like that. I'm not sure how far. Yeah, we will see. It's always difficult to say. So I would say from now on, around an hour, I will do kind of the same thing like this yesterday. So first we start a new, well, we start a new file. And that's how it looks like when you start a new file in Blender. And now I can show you again what's very important. If you want to import it to Unreal Engine, you have to do that. If you just want to work in Blender and you don't care about that, then you don't have to do it. And if you want to import it to Unity or something like that, then I honestly don't know what's the best settings. But for Unreal Engine, go here on the right panel here. You have different options. Take the third one, scene, under units. Here select centimeters, and we immediately see that we can delete this cube because that's now completely in the wrong dimension. Also press on the numpad 5, so I have to remember how you call these views. So this view is kinda more like how a lens works, so it has a curve in it. That's not very practical to work with it. That's why I'm not sure why it's default in Blender. If you press numpad 5, you have a flat view, and that's much easier to work in. So like I said already yesterday, but I will repeat that, I have in YouTube, I put the tutorials down, so we will do a simple test dummy, like use so really simple forms like you saw before, but the end result should be a kind of anime looking character or comic looking character, and for that there is a very good tutorial by a guy named Daniel Kreuter. Don't worry, the tutorial is in English. He made a 40-part tutorial, and he goes very into detail how to do it. So if you want to, of course after watching my stream, if you want to really learn how to create anime character, that's a really good guide. I will, however, do the things a little bit different. I said it yesterday. instead of a reference image, I will use a tactic that 2D artists use to do proportions for drawing characters, humans, and so on. And the tactic is measuring with heads. And today we do a female character. That means a female character is 5 to 6 heads. So yesterday I took as head size, head height 25 centimeters. That's because my head is around 25 centimeters and we came around 1.75 m, but it's more on the lower range for a man. But it's actually around my height, so you see that this measurement is actually pretty good. Today I will also use 25 centimeters. I think then we have more like 2 adult characters in the lower range height, and then we still can go bigger, or we can even use them as teenage character or something like that. The first thing I do is here adding on the mesh a plane, so we get a 2D plane. I press Alt G. With that I center the plane in the axis. Then I press Shift D and we get a new plane. Right mouse and it will go at the center of the axis again. Then I press G and Z, and then I can move the plane in the height. So I will put in 25, and that's our first reference here. And now, like I said, 5 to 6 heads, so I will make someone with 6 heads. That should be around 1.50 m. Not around, it will be 1.50 m. So we have to repeat this. How many times 6 heads? Then there are 7 7. Sheets at 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sheets at 25. Oh, yeah, no problem. If that happens, we just undo it. Sheets at 25. Oh, we did a little bit. We undid a little bit too much. 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. If we look now here, 1 meter, 1.5 meters. And I mean, we still can change the height. We just need the proportions. So as soon as we have the proportions, the height can still be changed. You just have to, with the height, you also have to change everything else, so it keeps in proportion. Okay, now what I do is I put this layer, these planes, I will put them in the second layer. So now you see down here, these are the layers. And it's pretty useful because you can select only one layer and then you don't have everything over each other. You can select more than one layer and then you can put the planes in all the time. So, and that's what I'm doing now. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I will do is add a head. And for that I again add mesh UE4 sphere, then you get something like that. Now you see the surface, you see every vertex, every polygon you see. We don't want that. That's not the end result we want. We want a smoother surface. So on the left side you see here under tools, you find here shading, and then you can set the shading to smooth, and then we have this smooth. If you want to see the polygons, you can always go back to flat, and this will also change how you see it in Unreal Engine. So we have to again Alt G, so it's in the center of the axis. Now of course, now what we do, we are right now in the object mode. So in the object mode, the best thing is not to keep everything in the center, and don't change any size or anything like that in here. I would always suggest, or at least not move it around. Changing the size is not such a big problem, but moving it around can be a problem. It can also be a problem. I would just suggest to always go into edit mode, and in edit mode you see now you can select all the vertexes you created before. If you don't want to select the vertex but the lines, you can down here change it, or if you want to select the surfaces, the planes, you press this button, but mostly you will use the points. If pressing A will select everything, pressing A again will deselect everything. We want everything selected, we press S, because we want the head a lot smaller. Let's see, around 0.2, it's still too big. 0.1, you can see down here, now, so down here it will show you the size. You can change the size on your own, just like this, or you can type in how much you want the size changed. Okay, now if we have done that, the size is probably not correct yet, but we press G and Z again, and then we can go up here. Now it's a little better. Here you can change how everything looks. Now we are in solid mode, so you don't so you see the objects in 3D. I'm going now to wireframe mode, and then you can see through everything, what will be helpful because now we can see the planes. I will go cheat that. Yeah, I think we have to do it a little bit bigger. No, that's a little bit too big. So I said this here is a head size, and now I did it a little bit smaller, and that's because a head is of course not perfect round. It's a little bit slimmer on the side most of the time, but we will add here later on when we make the face chin, and with that the head size should be around alright, like this. And also don't worry, we can always change it. If you think the head is too small or something, we can always, when we after adding the details, we still can change the sizes and so on. This here is for very simplified, to first make a very simplified body. With Alt A, I deselect it, and pressing on a line, you can select all the lines here. With Ctrl E, you can here select in select loop inner region, and it didn't work. Okay. course it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Okay, we have to do it differently. With B we can make a square, and we can select things with like this. So now I don't want this whole half here. When we create a human body, we create it symmetrical, and that's why I will delete this. Don't delete vertex, delete faces, and then you should have exactly the whole sphere here. And then here on this symbol you find modifiers, and now we will add a modifier, a mirror modifier. Now you see we have copied our forms. Now you can, when you press this one here, you can see everything. You can even select here, but it will of course also select this side. So if you with G change anything, it will change on the other side too. Of course you can also mirror it on other axes. Now here, this is a very important one, the clipping part. When I don't put clipping on and I move it around, you see what happens. The forms are not together. If I say clipping, then they're together. So that's important to know. If you have an object now here, you don't need clipping, but so you kind of need clipping. So that's all we need for the head, and we go out here. We can go back to Solidify. Now we want to make the upper torso. We go back, add mesh. This time we add a cube, Alt G, so it's in the center again. Then we go back to edit mode, and I think, yeah, we can do it later. And then again with S we kind of downsize it. With GZ we can go up on the x-axis, and now the upper torso is what we do right now is the upper torso. That with that I mean the area from shoulder to where the rib ends and the stomach starts, and this is also head high, so we have to do it a little bit smaller here. And another thing is, we said this here is the whole head, so of course we have also a neck. Did I just move it? Yeah, it's not good. So what you can do is here transform now on the x-axis, and y-axis I want to center it. Let's move that back. Let's move that a little bit back so we can see better. So what we also need is a neck. So it will be starting from here and it will go around down here. So I think we just change a little bit the set size. Make it around here. So okay, yesterday I said for the male character the shoulders are around 2 heads far from each other. That's not for women, it's maybe 1.5. So I create here I duplicate here this head so we can a little bit measure it. I press that so we get into the wireframe zone, and I will add the outer round of the head to the z-axis, and no, I didn't want to go. So our upper torso is far too wide, we go back to edit mode, as X, and we slim it down a little bit. Yeah, maybe around here. So half of half is around here. Okay, let's go back. I think we can remove this head here. Delete. And now, yeah, we go back here. Edit. This. Oh. As Y. Slim this one here down around here. Okay. What I now press is Ctrl R. With Ctrl R we can add a line in the center. Just press right mouse and then it will center itself. I press it again, I will do the same here. And I press it again, Ctrl R, and do another line here. Then I select everything, and then on the left side here we have the option subdivide. Subdivide gives us more vertexes, and it does it nice, symmetrical. And now here we have smooth vertex, and this kinda rounds the shape a little bit up. So it looks a little bit more like an upper body. What I did now is making everything a little bit smaller, so we go back with the size around this. So yesterday we made a mail and I said I put this part here pretty high because we wanted to have already a little bit the muscles. Men have thicker necks and you see the muscles better than with women. So with women or more teenage characters we can go straight and then add here a neck. So this is already quite okay. Then we get, as we go down to the hips, we get of course slimmer. So first I have to deselect everything. First this one here, and then as X. So I slim this down a little bit. We can go quite curvy with a woman. Absolutely with the hips we can go a little bit more into detail. And slim this down here. Yeah, you have to be careful. You only want to slim it down in the x-axis, so it won't be different here. Now, like I said, the spine isn't straight, so I take the whole thing and I rotate it a little bit, like that. Let me... Oh, that wasn't the thing I wanted to do. Let me undo it. I think it's... Is it a little bit too thick? It's more... Do it a little smaller, slimmer. I mean, of course, when we do a female characters here, it gets probably a little bit more curvy, but I think it's better to add these details later on. Yeah, what I want to do is move it a little bit like here. So here will be the neck. The neck will be also a little bit curved. Is it too much? It's maybe too much. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a little bit irritating because we don't have the complete head. But here's the neck. Yeah, maybe the neck is a little bit too long. But should be okay for now. Okay, now we do the same like we did with the other one. Again, we don't want the complete, or we don't need the complete version. We will add here a modifier, again, mirror modifier. We select that we see everything, at least that you don't have to, that's just what I prefer, and we select, show you that you can see it clipping. And now when we change something, the other side changes too. Okay, what I do now is taking the head, making a copy here. I go into edit mode. Okay, I see. Ah, that's no. We have to do it differently. Sorry about that. Do I have now two heads? Yeah. I will add. I have to add a new UE4 map. So what we do? So I forgot to do with this one here. Just move it down. We will just move that down. Alt G. Never forget Alt G to center it. Let's go back into edit mode. Make it a lot smaller. And we kind of make the joints in the shoulder here. Just to have a preference here for the joints. I think that's okay. I think when we have maybe a little bit back like this, I think we have to see in the end result how it looks, but yeah. And now we can add a mirror. This time we don't have to clip, we don't need clipping. But if you want, we can select this one here. I will also add cylinder. Let's move it down and Alt G, never forget Alt G, and we go into edit mode, push it down quite, make it smaller quite a bit, go up, and yeah, we need the reference here. This is quite a thick neck, and GZ, and we rotate it a little bit. Too much. Something like that. Yes, and then when we have the whole head, I think we can leave it with that. Yeah, like I said, this is not the end form, so we make here a very simple form, and out of this form, with the right proportions already, what will really help, and then out of this very simple form we can then make more complicated things. And like I said, if you don't like this method I use, a tutorial by someone else who has more experience with Blender than I have. There's a link for this tutorial in the description of my YouTube channel, so you can look that up. What I wanted to do, and I got distracted guy talking. This again, deleting 1/2 here. I mean, I can understand if you never used Blender, this is maybe everything a little bit too fast. I add clipping, but I repeat the same thing a lot here actually for making this. And like I said, there are better step-by-step tutorials than I do here right now that maybe help you get better into Blender. Maybe help you explain more where you can find what. Okay, I wonder if we should bring the... Yeah, let's make... Just for visuals, bring this one a little bit up. How should I do it? No, I don't know. Why isn't it working? Oh, no. Of course, it's Control Z for... No, I leave it like that. Otherwise, I may get confused about the head size. Okay, let's move on. I'm getting too distracted with small details. So now we want the rest of the torso. Let me see one thing here. That's kind of what annoys me. I want them in a different layer here. So I press I press it in layer 1. So then I can deselect this layer here if I don't want to see these planes here. Can be distracting. Okay, now we add another mesh, another cube, Alt G, never forget Alt G. We go in edit mode, we make it a lot smaller. Let's take wireframe so we see everything. And now this part of the body is actually a little bit small. Oh, now I moved it around again. I also added a tutorial in the description of my YouTube channel for how to draw like I do now the 3D modeling, and there they kinda overlap the upper body with the lower, the upper torso with the lower torso. I don't want this overlapping here. But this will, for women they made it like this here. So the lower torso ends here. That's the 1 to the 3rd head. Let's see, let's make it a little bit slimmer. Yeah, we have to move it a little bit, but we can do that later on. Audio. Again, I will subdivide it first per hand with Ctrl R, and then the right mouse button. I will select everything, I subdivide it, and I smooth it down. Now that is too high. Something like that. Now with women, let's first do this part here. as X. I think we can do it a little bit, yeah. And as that, let's flatten it a little bit. Okay. So with women we can go quite slim here and then go a little bit thicker around here. Depending on how you like to do your women, let's say it like this. But a little bit more curvier than men, it's should do that. Yes, let's do it. Sorry about that. Happens all the time. Okay. Then we have to change the form a little bit. It's maybe shift. No, I think it's okay. Let's move it a little bit here. Let's rotate it a little bit less. Also, when we do a man, we will do more flatter ass, maybe more muscular ass. Let's say it like this. With women, we can certainly again make it a little bit thicker. Curvier, let's not say thicker, let's say curvier. I would say, sorry, I'm thinking. Let's see how that looks. And then move it a little bit back. Yeah. I mean, of course, now it's not curvy, but we will add later on more polygons. And you can even already kinda push this one here down. Yeah, we will add more polygons later on, and then I think around here it could be slimmer. That's a feel. This is a little bit too much. A little bit too much. Yeah, that looks already quite well. Let's also push this one here a little bit back. And this one here too. So we already have, I kinda have the feeling I take too much time with the ass, but it's okay. Yes. So what we can do now is the legs. Let's go out here and let's look. Oh, I know what I have to do. So let's move this one here. Sorry, I have to go back here in edit mode. That's set for wireframe mode. I will select everything on this side here. Vertex, add modifier, mirror. Select this one. Select this one. Kinda get the feeling an hour was maybe a little bit too optimistic, but it's okay. It's okay. I have time today. I will add a UE4. You know what? Delete this one here. I will copy this one here because we already have set everything up here. And again I will adjust for the joints. Something like that. Let's go out of here. And then we do the upper legs. Or let's first do the knees, so we know the size for the legs. And I have to go to wireframe mode, so the knees are around here. So the upper leg will be from here, around here to here. Of course we have the joint area here. Sorry when I don't know all the muscles in English. Muscles and bones and so. But I think we have to bring that a little bit forward, maybe. For sure the knees. Maybe that's too much. We will see later on. Edit G Y. I'm kind of thinking I'm not sure if this should be on the same line here. I mean the shoulders. Let's put it a little bit back. I think this one is a little bit too much. We just want to have a little bit natural pose, and so the knees are of course a little bit forward. They're not on the same line like up here. Maybe it's still too much forward, but we can leave it like this. And then we add another cylinder. Let's move it down. Go into edit mode. Make it a lot smaller. I forgot what I always say. Alt, never forget Alt G. Otherwise you will have problems if you don't do that. Okay. Now I will go back to set. I will select the upper lines here. Go around here, up here, making it a little bit thicker. I think we can go up until, yeah, up to this point. Then we move this one here. Let's move it a little bit back, so we really have the knee caps already. Now we have to fix this one here. Yeah, I think it can be thicker here. Yeah, that was also a problem with the male. I did this too thin and it kind of looks a little bit strange. Okay. And we add a mirror here. That's okay. Let's look at it like this. Yeah. I mean, don't worry about that. We will flatten these things. to a much later point. Okay, let's do the ankles for the feet. I will copy this one here again. Oh, edit mode. They are around the middle of here. Of course, a lot smaller, something like that. Bring it back again. So we have here a little bit, you know, so the legs are not completely straight. That's not so very natural. But just a little bit bent knees. Okay, then we can take this one. We have to go take this one here, duplicate it, go into edit mode, G, make them smaller. Something like that. Of course, there will be more definition, more details later on. We will here make it a little bit thicker down here in the back here, of course, and things like that. And then the last thing we add are the feet. I go back here. Oh, doesn't. Let's look at it. This form. Yeah, it's okay. The legs look quite long because we don't have this here connected, and maybe they should be a little bit thicker. Yeah, okay. Let's add another cube. So with the hand and the feet, we have to do them. What did I do? And Alt G, I pressed the wrong button. You never know with Blender. Something. With hand and legs, if we do them with detail, with finger and everything on, it's better to do them maybe a little bit. It's to make them separately, because absolutely the fingers, I mean the feet are maybe not that important. It also depends a little bit on what type of character you create. Maybe you never will see the feet naked. Barfeet, the character Barfeet, maybe he will always wear shoes, so details won't the details may not matter then for you if you have a character like this. With the hand, of course we can't do that. We just need the hands for animations and something like that, and then we need all the fingers, and all the fingers they need to move for animations. It's, for me personally, one of the more annoying parts with animations, but I'm not so used to animations. Maybe if you're used to animations, the fingers are fun. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, of course this is a very simplified form, but it's okay. So now the last thing we have to do are the arms and hands. So now if you will just 2D draw it, you can put the arms down here, and then the arm will go up to this point, and then you will add the hands. We can't do that in 3D like this, just for the reason we don't want our limbs and so on very close to the body. That gives us trouble later on when we add an armature, skeleton, and when we rig the armature with the mesh, then it's troublesome if everything is really close to each other. So we kind of want to split it, and that's the reason why the T-pose is so famous. However, I won't do 100% T-pose, because if you do a T-pose yourself, you will see it's a quite unnatural pose. The shoulders, they come kind of a little bit up, so I will do a small degree of maybe 20-25 degrees down, and then it's a much more natural pose than the T pose. And for sizing it, we have it's like this. The upper arm is from shoulder joints up to the end of the elbow, one head, and then from now I have to look, that's what we did with the males, and then for the rest also a head. Yeah, no, it's the same for, no, it's not the same. So it's one head for, oh, that's quite annoying. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller. It's one head for the start of the shoulders to the end of the elbow, and it's one head from the start of the elbow to the end of the to the wrist. Yes, now I found the right word. So yeah, so it was a little bit easy to create with the male character. I just seen something. We want to add a mirror here. Okay, and smooth it. It's not that important here. I take this one here, make a copy with Shift D. I go into edit mode, and I will kind of move it here. Okay, what I did with the male character was I took a plane. Don't want this plane, sorry. Let's take the one in the center. I went to edit mode. I went up here. Let's make it around minus 50 or 30 degree. 40 degrees. No, wait. Can I calculate? 90. No. Yeah, it's 40 degree. I mean, not from here. From here to here, it's 40. Yeah. Let's go to that. I will do a line here. So what we not can do now is Shift D, copy this line, because we don't have a reference here to make exactly 25 centimeters. So what you do is selecting everything here and then press E. And now with E you kinda make a cube, and now Blender gives you a guideline that is exactly 90 degree from your plane and in the center, so we can press add this 25 centimeters. And then, because we don't want body, I mean we can show it in solid, we now have a body. We kinda don't want that. We just want to planes, so I select all the lines here with Control. I press delete and edges, and then we only have the planes. Okay, now we can go out here, we can take this one here and we can edit it. Let's go to wireframe mode. What I can do also, what helps a lot, is going in here. I have to bring it down a little bit. It was too much. Should have done that from the beginning. It would be a lot simpler. You may understand what I want to do in a moment. Okay, let's deselect this one here. I'm still on the, yeah. Okay, select this one here, make a duplicate, Shift D, and then rotate it with R for 90 degrees, and then we have here a line as another reference. So now I can put this one here kinda in the right positions. It's a little bit too big for an elbow. Now it's probably the best to do the elbow a little bit back, so we have already the form. I think that's okay. Now we go back here. Yes, 1 hour was a little bit optimistic, sorry about that. We select this one here, press E, and yeah, around here, and we select the lines again. So we only have a plane. Delete the vertex. No. Of course not delete the vertex, delete the edges, sorry about that. So we have again a plane. We select this again, E. Now, of course we have to select the whole plane, otherwise it won't work. And Oh, I hate that with Blender. G duplicate. No, not duplicate. Now I'm myself confused. E, and now we can do again 25. And this should be more or less, I would say it's okay. If we have a curve around here, and a circle around here. Yes, I actually can check that. I go in here and I just make this one here bigger, and then we see, yeah, it works. We have here this line, this plane here, and this plane here. They are both almost reaching the circle. I mean, this small difference, it's not that big of a problem. Press the right mouse button so we don't select a new size. We don't want that. We go in here, Shift D, and now we make the wrist with G. I think we can make it a little bit smaller than the elbow, and when we look from the side, we kind of want it more on the line for the shoulders. Okay. So now we need cylinders again, so I will take this one here, slim it down a little bit, rotate it with R, let's look that it's parallel to the line we did there. Yep, I think this is our, yeah, okay. Let's take this one here, let's move it. Something like that. Let's center it a little bit better. Okay. Let's look at it. Okay, now. Oh, I see the problem. A little bit annoying here. Delete the edges. Okay. Didn't I select everything? Then. Yeah. Just sorry. I should talk and not just look. Okay. Yeah, let's finish this. It doesn't look too bad, I think. I personally think. Let's go out of here and let's only select. Oh no. Yeah, what? That's a little bit annoying here. Let's also take the. Okay. Okay. Let's take this. Shift D. We go in edit mode, and we do the rest of the arm. I'm in edit mode, right? Anyway. By the way, with Alt and moving around the mouse, Blender will kinda fix the way you look at, how can I say, you kind of, so it, if you don't press Alt, it's kind of free, you can move it around free. If you press Alt, you see it jumps from different ways to look at it. That's very helpful, and I explained it extremely bad. I'm sorry about that. Something is... I hate that. My mistake, but I still hate it. G, we go here. Something like that. I mean, the wrist you won't see much in the end, but that's okay now that the joints are a little bit too much. And like I said, for the hands I just take another sphere, because like I said, we have to do the hands separately. They are so complex that it's better to do them first in a separate file and then just copy paste it in here. Kind of something like that. And then we have our female character with nice boxing hands. Well, yeah, doesn't look too bad. It feels a little bit small, but maybe because this area is a little bit too wide. And this area is a little bit too slim. Or maybe because the head is floating. But we will see soon. I will now save this one here. You see I already have a male base, and this is of course a female base plus a test dummy. And I will save this here, and why I saved it. Save it again. Now I want to open the test dummy. So that's our male guy here. This is the armature we made for our test dummy. I will now just Control C. It will select. I select the armature, Control C, and just copy paste everything. I go to a new layer, Control V, and we have our skeleton. So, and it's rotated wrong. Why is it rotated so? Did I start it wrong? We can easily fix that, or not. Yeah, now we have a problem. And if we press Alt R, it will go back. Why is it? I can't do that in edit mode. No, I can do it in edit mode. Can I? No, it's only that bone. What's better? Probably moving the mesh. But the mesh is correct. Why? I'm sorry about that. Did I do the male one wrong? Yeah, I did the male one wrong. That's annoying. No, this should be correct. That's the back. I did the female one wrong. Yeah, you have to check that. Should I? This could be a problem, but I will do it with R sat in this mode. I'm not too happy with that. What I can do is join. No, that won't help. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I did a mistake. Probably by showing you everything, kind of rotating around. This got messed up. This could be a problem in the future when I forget that I did that, because with Alt R we can redo it. Is there another way? What I can do is press here, join everything, go into edit mode, select everything, or set. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, No, the problem is because everything is still mirrored. Yeah. How do I do that best? Yeah, so I have to apply the mirror. Let's see if that works. Let's press clipping. Let's go to edit mode. Let's select everything, R set 180 degrees here. Yeah, sorry about that, we have to do it like this. I didn't want to join everything already. So if join, you just join the mesh, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to separate it. But what I do is separate it again. It's going back here. I still want this mirror mode on. Let's see, did I hit it right? Yeah. Delete faces. Looks good. Mirror mode. Yeah, now everything is connected. I still can separate things, so it's not that big of a problem. Yeah, it's okay. You can join it if you want. I think it's maybe even better for transferring. Anyway, let's go back to. Oh, I forgot to save. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Save. Open test dummy. Control C. File open my female character. Control V. Now I added it wrong layer. I just wanted in other layer. She's quite small, a lot smaller than I thought against the man, to be honest. But yeah, let's keep it just that for now. It's 150. It's 170. Yeah. One head is quite a lot. It's okay. We go here into edit mode. So just because of the time, I mean, we are now in this 1 hour, over this 1 hour already. I don't want to explain the whole armature, how I did it again. There's a very good tutorial. There's a link in my YouTube. On my YouTube channel down below in the description for this stream, and there someone else shows you how you can make this armature, just to show you what it can do. I just seen something. Let's go to edit mode. I don't need this one here. Yeah, I simplified the. I don't need this one. No. What's that? And I don't need this one here. Sorry about that. Now it looks fine. You can now here go into pose mode and kind of play around here, and you see moves around. So the special thing with this armature, like I said, you find the tutorial how to do it in the description of my YouTube channel. The advantage is that you have these bones connected here, so it already moves a little, like a leg. You have this navigation bones, you can say, and this here are deformation bones. They will change the mesh, so you can move it around and it moves already almost like a leg. Now when we can use this navigation bones here and select in which direction the knee should look. So this is extremely helpful for creating animations and so on. There's a problem here. Now, creating new bones, you can go here to armature and add a single bone. They have here this human meta rig. I don't know, maybe they improved it, but when I used it, I wasn't happy with it. Creating animations with it was way harder than with this one here. What I added much different here from mine to the one he did is I added the fingers. Like I said, I hate the fingers. You see, it's somewhat. There are a lot of finger bones. I also added this kind of cheekbones here for the ass. Just because this area here I found out is quite troublesome with deformations of the mesh. So I can tell you this: if you have as more bones as you have, as better you can rig it, more detailed you can rig it, and you won't have any ugly deformations. The problem is that it is much harder to make animations. So for making animations, it's better to have a very simple armature. It helps a lot. But I also have to say I did a lot of tests, and after tests I did a much more complicated armature, and I simplified it because I'm not sure if I really need such a complicated one. I will see that later. I will probably add more bones. As example, for hair, I had for hair bones. If you have a character with long hairs, you may want the hairs move around. If you have clothes that hang down, maybe a skirt or just white clothes, you want them to move. Or if you have a scarf or something like that, and you need for all these things probably a bone. There is in Unreal Engine for extra for clothing physics tool. The problem is when I used it, I found it a little bit it limited the things that I could do absolutely with the selecting a material for everything. It's quite difficult to explain it to you. Maybe I will explain it later on a little bit more in detail. Maybe I will look at it again. So I didn't use the extra physics tool for clothes. If it works, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. It looks almost realistic. Probably more realistic than you can do it. The physics for your own if you want something. Yeah, and if you really want to have a ragdoll that really is completely only based on physics, you probably have also to add more bones. Also, what I did was for females, I added here bones. Just, you know, it's a little bit bouncier in this area. Let's say it like this. But and here again, it's kind of like what you want to do, what your character is. If you have maybe not a human character or character that has a lot of clothes on, maybe the rigging will be a lot easier because you don't see the body, so much of the muscles and so on, and deformations are less a problem. or if you have kind of like a Darth Vader character, it also will be more mechanical, let's say it like this, so probably less a problem than if you have a half naked guy or so running around. Then you have to be more careful with the rigging. But I'm already talking a lot too much about it. Like I said, if you want to create this one here, there is a link on my YouTube channel again in the description. You find the link and use that to create it. This is very useful. I really like that, except for the fingers. You still have to move around the fingers on your own. But the arm and the legs you can really bend nicely and so on. That works extremely fine already. But like I said, you probably need more bones than you see here now. But for now, for the test dummy, it is okay to use that one. So we overlaid two things here. I will go here, which one is it? Yeah, here, X-ray, so you see truth. We go into edit mode of the bone. We go under options, we select the x-axis, so we only have to manipulate one side. What we do now is to overlay the tooth. I really think this is a small character. Maybe I will use it for a teenager or so. Sorry about that. So now we push down the size, and that's better to do it here. It may give us some complications later on. Maybe the shoulders are too wide if we look at it from here. Also this area. No, I mean the ass can go around here. No, it should be fine. Yeah, the ass can go around here. A little bit lower. That's a little bit high for the ass. Going around here. Yeah. So what we do now is, yeah, the shoulders are too wide. I have to make changes. So are we in the edit mode? No, of course not. Okay, come on. Sorry. Let's not change the size here. Let's change the size here. I was around 0.8. Let's. That's now a little bit annoying. I was hoping it's okay. Huh. I had the feeling it was around 0.8. Yeah. Shoulders are too wide, the ass is too high. That's the two problems. The knees are pretty good. Maybe I should bend it a little bit out. That's okay. The feet could be. You see, it's a little bit more. The feet are a little bit back in the back. So let's change these things. course, that's now really helpful that I have this skeletal mesh. That kind of helps me. I mean, also already a prepared skeletal mesh I used on a earlier on with an asset, not one of mine. Let's take this a little bit down, a little bit back. Let's try to select. Yeah, that's no problem because everything is in the same. Let's take this. Yeah. Let's take this too. This one here. So much better. Again, I used too much time with the ass. Yes. Let's bring in the shoulders. So it's a little bit higher, huh? If you want, I mean, if you're not used to it, you can ask me. Then I will put this skeletal mesh somewhere online so you can, the armature, I mean just the armature, so you can use it as reference, so like I did, because the armature has already the perfect, not perfect proportions, but quite well proportions. Yeah, it looks better. Let's slim this down here. The problem now is the problem we have now. Let's see, I have to take. Yeah, I have to take all of them. Something like that. That's too much. Yeah, I have to think about this area a little bit more later on. Probably it should be slimmer here, and here it can be thicker. I mean, not so drastically here, more here. Let's see again. Yeah, I think now the arms may be a little bit, no, they should be alright. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, how... Oh. Great. Yes, now. You know. Okay. Mesh. Undo. 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 Yes. Okay. As only X on the X-axis. Let's see. Yeah. I think she can be slimmer around here, but I think that will be can we do later on. And here this part is too much, also too much forward here. I already go a little bit too much into detail maybe. This here. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, I had not to do. It probably will end up to be a teenager, maybe not a child. I think maybe 25 is a little bit low, so take, for the head size, take something between 25 and 30. You can measure your own heads and then think about your height, so you can take proportion kind of like that. Yeah, I probably will upload for the ones that are not used to do skeletal mesh and things like that. I may upload just the skeletal mesh, so you can use it. And because we took the shoulders back, the arms are now probably too long. Let's go here back. Let's go back into track here, because now it will go around here. But I kinda have to see. Around here. Yeah, it's very helpful to have this skeleton mesh, actually. So it's not a perfect method for the proportions. Maybe adding a reference like it is in the tutorial can help. It helps a lot if you know how to draw in 2D. So that's not the annoying part, that we already put everything together. make it like this. Go a little bit back. Look back here. Select this part here. Yes. Let me test some. Yeah, have to go into edit mode for that. Just a small test. Yeah, it's still no, it's fine. It's fine. That really helps. Here, here at the no, it's okay. It's fine. That's pretty good. I just still think it's more a child character than what we wanted, a female. 150 is pretty small. Maybe for an Asian woman. But it's okay. Let's move on. Let's not think about that too much right now. Yeah, that's the problem a little bit with my streams. That's why I give you these extra tutorials, absolute about things I'm not sure about. This method I did today, I tried that out yesterday the first time, and I don't know if someone else made a similar tutorial with 3D. I just know it's something you can do for 2D. But you see, it's not perfect. There are some things you have to still. Yeah, so the shoulders are. But I thought it would be around 1.5 heads. Yeah, maybe it's 1.5, and I just. It's difficult to say. No, that's not 1.5. Anyway, there. If you know how to do proportions 2D, it will help a lot in 3D. And like I said, that's the problem with my streams. I'm nothing like a professional with these things. I kind of know how to use it and how to correct stuff that are wrong. Let's say it like that. But everything I know, I learned myself over the internet with tutorials and so on. So sometimes I will try new things I never tried before, and these things may fail. And that's why I'm saying don't take this as a step-by-step tutorial. Just take these streams as kinda ideas if you want to create your own game, what you can do. And then look at other tutorials, the ones I give. Maybe you find something else that is helpful, or that is more for what you want to do. Yeah, and I mean, as we go deeper into the project, you will see it will be more and more. The things I do will be more and more defined by my project, and not general how you should do it. Or I hope you understand what I mean with that. Because we already are way off the 1 hour mark, and I want to work at least a little bit in Unreal Engine for today. She just looks like a child. Maybe if we get her more curvy, maybe, but it's okay. I anyway need also not child is maybe a little bit too much, but around teenager. That's okay. I need teenage character. It's just female. I rather had a male one. It's okay. It's okay. I'm thinking too much. Let's move on. Now, what we want to do is, if we change the pose with our armature, then we would like that our mesh, the 3D mesh, also moves around. Blender wouldn't do, like when I change here the pose. I don't know why I have always problems in here. When I move this here around, I want the 3D mesh also move around. And for that we have to, what we now can do is we select the mesh. That's important. First select the mesh, second with shift select the armature, and now press Ctrl and P and you get this menu here. And now here you can select with automatic weights. With automatic weights, it means it does Blender does its best to rig the mesh around the bones you have. You can also with empty mesh, and then our weight painting tool, I show you after that, you can change it yourself. Because it's a very simple form we have, we can use automatic weights. It probably will be okay. This may, if you have a complicated mesh, it may take a little bit longer, but it looks fine already. And when you select your mesh here, you can go to weight paint, tools, add, and then you have here under this symbol here, vertex groups, all the bones are in here. And now you can look here, tight. This area is to the tight bone. If something is blue, it's not rigged to the bone you have selected here, and as redder it gets, as more it is connected with it. Then we have the spine here. Here you see, here it's strongly rigged, and then a little bit less here. Chest area, neck, and so on. And with add and subtract, you can add, change it for yourself. So with this character, it probably will, here you can change the strength. That helps. Like I said, with a simple character like that, it won't be a problem. It's also just for testing everything. And now you see you can move around and everything moves around. I will press the... That's pretty cool. And so you can do animations. And what I want to say is, like I said, for this simple form, you can use automatic, it's no problem. For more complicated one, I also use most of the time with automatic, but then I do a lot of manual weight painting added to that, just to see, to make it not perfect, but so that it won't have any complicated deformations or any ugly deformations, let's say it like this. Yeah, that's all I want to say to that. now I guess I will take a short break. I have to open up Unreal Engine. That will take a moment, and then I show you how to import the skeletal mesh we made now to Unreal Engine. And I almost forgot some things. I want to add a material, and this material will be red because we made our male one blue. That's what I want to add, and then also I want to change the name. I don't want to have the same name I used for that. This will be test dummy 2. That's very important. The name for the armature. Always select a unique name you don't have selected before when you make a new armature. If you want to synchronize animation when two characters do something together, like shaking hands, the best thing to do is adding both characters in one file. And if you have the same name for your armature, Blender will automatically change the name for one armature, because there can't be two armature with the same name, of course. And then if you already have uploaded animations and so on under the old name of your armature, and now you want to upload with the new name, the Unreal Engine 4 will give you an error, and it will be very annoying to first find out what is the problem and so on, and you can get around a lot of headache when you really think about changing the names of things, and do it with unique names. Okay, like I said, I will take now a break. It may take around 5 minutes. I won't stop the stream. I will give you this nice thing here, and then I'm back with Unreal Engine, and we will do the rest. We still have a lot to do. I hope I can fit in everything. I also, if you think this is way too long, I will later on clip out the different parts, like this one, like what I did in Blender now, and then I will upload shorter videos up to YouTube, and then you can look at it again in more detail. I also will give you the links there. Like I said, I may upload the skeletal mesh, so you have a reference for proportions. So for proportions, like I said, you can use it like the guy does it in tutorial with a reference he drew by himself. You can find some references in Google by googling, but not all of them are very useful most of the time. If you can't draw by yourself, maybe this method I showed you now could be helpful to give you at least some direction in proportion. You see, the method has to be optimized a little bit, and also you have to think about that male and female bodies don't have exactly the same proportion. Yeah, proportions around the same, but not the same figure, so you have to change a little bit there. Again, also teen characters, or really then even child characters. So I want to child characters. I don't need that in my game, but so around teen characters. They have more a different body type, and I think it's not bad to have now a female made female. I think teens, they have, even male, have less muscles and are more, maybe more feminine, let's say it like this. Yeah, so I will take a break, drink something, and then I will be back in a moment. So I'm back. Let's move this away. So Unreal Engine has been loaded, and now we will do the second part. We want to import our new test dummy up to Unreal Engine 4, and for that I have to do something else. Right now I save this as female body, so I can later on work on this one. I will save as test dummy 2. So why I'm doing that is because we still have the mirror modifier on. This one is the mirror modifier, this is our armature. Now the problem is Unreal Engine won't recognize this this modifier, so if you upload it like this, you only will get half of the body. That's why I will apply it to test dummy 2, but I won't apply it to female body. The reason is so I can still work on female body without with having the modifier on, without having to change that back. And this one here is anyway, like, it's called test dummy 2. We used this one here as for testing the mechanics and so on in Unreal Engine, and then the other one, with the other one we will create more detailed characters and so on. I don't know, female character or teen character, I don't know yet. I have to see them. Right now I have the feeling it's more a teenager than a woman, to be honest. But if we add more curves to it, maybe this will change, and maybe change the size a little bit. So we select the mesh, we select our armature after we sorry, yeah, we removed, no, I'm sorry. Undo history. Yeah, okay. I applied the wrong modifier. This is the mirror modifier. I applied that. So now when I go into edit mode, if I change something here, it changes only on one side. But that's needed for Unreal Engine, like I said. I will select both, if my mouse lets me. Then I will go on the file, I will go here, export, and FBX. You see here a lot of different formats. FBX is the one I personally think is used the most. It's the one I know it works. Unreal Engine can't detect everything. I think I don't have it in here. I can't export it, but import. Yeah, I can find the OBG is another one, I think, but let's just use FBX. That's the most common one, I believe. Like I said, again, Unity, if you have it, use Unity. I don't know what is the perfect thing to use, the perfect preferences and so on. Again, don't forget to have centimeters on. That's very important if you want to upload to Unreal Engine. Okay, file, export, come on, FBX. Now I have here is my project under content, under testing. Here we already have our test dummy 1. Now here I added stamps. I know I explained that yesterday, but with the how the stream went, I think I better explain it again. I made 2 stamps, one for animations and one for mesh only. The reason is if you have a lot of animations and you have a complicated armature, uploading the animations every time can be really annoying in form that it takes just really long. And if you just change something on the mesh, what can happen? Maybe you want something doesn't look as you expected in Unreal Engine, or something doesn't work as expected. Then you may change something at the mesh and you just want to upload the mesh, so you can do that separately from the animations, so you don't have to upload the animations the whole time. And I will show you what preferences I put in for these 2 things. On the other hand, if you just want to upload animations, you don't want the mesh with you. But as example, if you give someone else the job to do animations and things like that for you, then maybe he gives you everything in one file directly, and then you can upload everything at once. And if you did a great job, you never have to change it again. But so, because I will tell you, while you work on your project, you have to make a lot of changes in animations, in mesh, and then you want it separately. So let's go first for mesh. First, use 7.4 binary. Then under main, selected objects is armature, mesh, and other. Deselect lamp, camera, and I don't know what empty is, but deselect it. So only these 3. We don't need. I don't think Unreal Engine will even recognize these things, so you maybe don't need to deselect it, but just deselect it, so you for sure don't have anything unmounted in it. We still need the armature, so even if you don't upload animations, the reason is so Unreal Engine can detect it as a skeletal mesh. And of course you need the mesh. Then on the geometry, nothing is on. Smoothing, normals only. I think that's okay. I'm not sure if this is default anymore, or if I change that. Under armature, here only deform bones. That's untrue. We want all the bones, also the navigation bones. That's important. So deselect that for sure. Add leaf bones. I'm not sure what this is, but just do it like I have it. I'm not sure what the default is right now. And animation, deselect baked animation, so everything is off. So it won't upload the animations. Then animation, we only upload the armature on the main. We are on the main. We only upload the armature, deselect mesh order and all the camera lamp things. Geometry is the same. Armature is the same. And under animation, everything is on. That should be clear. If you want to, like I did, make a stamp so Blender remembers it, you can press here plus and then give it the name, and then it will remember the selection you have. Then we call it test dummy 2, put FBX, we want it in this order, and we export the FBX file. And I did something wrong because I still had the animations on. That's okay. We had it on animation instead of mesh. So we just do it again, press on mesh, and we overwrite this one here, and then it's fine. So I didn't want this one up. Now here Unreal Engine gives us this notification, hey, something changed. It detected the FBX. Do you want to import it? And I would suggest to you, don't import it from here. If you have something like only an image or something like that, then select the order you want it. No, you don't even have to do that. But if you copy into your Unreal Engine something like images, textures, or something like that, you can use the I'm using the import like this, the automatic import. Otherwise I don't do it, because often it doesn't give you the what you want. Maybe I will go into that a little bit on later when we do import some images or anything like that. But the reason is because so I went it in this order. In this file, in this file, and to import it. So we'll explain it to you shortly why I did that with don't import it. So under testing, starter content, that's a little bit annoying. I think that's just empty. Yeah, you can, if you create a new project, then you can select if you want starter content. The starter content helps you to do the tutorials that Unreal Engine itself offers you to use that. I accidentally selected it and it ended up in my game. I deleted everything, but the files are still on, so I have to delete that outside. That's a little bit annoying. But under testing, the file that I made, we have here our test dummy I uploaded before. That's the male one. We have here the material I used. Here I used blue. Like I said, for the female we will use red. Then we have physical set, and we have our armature. We press here on import. I want the test dummy 2 in the same file. Now wait. Yes, here. I'm sorry. Under content, I put it in testing, test dummy 2. Here is our FBX. We select this, we open it, and here. So now, because in the file we already made, it detected a skeleton or armature, how you want to call it, that it has the same structure like the one we have already for the test dummy 1, and we want separate. Even if they are the same, we want similar, we want them different, so we will clear this out here, and when we have cleared it out, it will make a new skeleton. So if you now add something like a weapon or something that has, of course, has the same skeleton you already uploaded, you can select here a skeleton. So if I now, for the test dummy, want to upload a weapon for the test dummy, then, and the weapon has the same skeleton, I will show that later on why you can do it differently, but I think this is the best way to do it. I better not go into detail right now, it just complicates things. Then you can select the skeleton here, and then it won't do a second skeleton, because you don't want that. If you have two objects that have the two meshes that have the same skeleton, and you want them to be animated the same way, then you don't want two different skeletons. But here now, these are separated things, and we want a new one, so you just have to clear it out, and it does it for you. Unreal Engine creates for you a skeletal mesh. Physics asset, we can take here the test dummy, or no, because it's female, we may want to create. Here is the same thing. I have to check that later on when we work with the physics. If you have different skeleton but the same physics, what you probably will do most of the time, maybe you have difference with female and male characters, that's possible. But if you have two male characters, you kind of want the same physics. You don't want to do almost the same thing twice, even if maybe something is a little bit different. If you have already a good ragdoll physics or something like that, you may want to take the same thing. But because we have now a male and a female, I clear it and I change. I mean, the problem is, if you already have, or if you don't want Unreal to create a physics asset every time you upload something, it can be annoying and irritating if you have a lot of physics assets. You better select something. You still can later on create a physics asset for yourself or deselect and select another one. That's not a problem. Then what we need here is import morph targets. You have to select this on. Morph targets are deformations with the mesh. You use that as example for facial expressions. So when you want someone to smile, you don't use bones and animations. You just use these morph targets. In Blender they are called shape keys. But it's the same thing, and then you create these different meshes and you can deform it to. I will show you that later. Just press this on, because if you forget it and then you upload it and then you can't find your morph targets, you may look for a long time. What is the problem? Why didn't it upload it? And it was just because of this, because you didn't enable it. Then we can enable the animations. We already have deselected it in Blender, so it's not a problem. Again, it's the same if you upload animations and you have deselected it, you may forget to select it again. Then here, that's not a problem. Import the material and textures you have on your test dummy, that's fine. And then we just press import all, and it will do the job for us. What may take a moment, absolutely, if you have a complicated mesh. So mesh takes a little bit shorter. If you have a lot of animations, like I said, that can take a long time. Absolutely, if you have an armature with a lot of bones. I don't like it that it is stuck right now at 100%. But okay. Yeah, now it did it. Now you get this thing here with a lot of warnings. You can ignore the warnings. You will get warnings. That's just how it is. If you may use another 3D model program that's supported better with Unreal Engine, like Maya or 3D Max, you may not get these warnings. These warnings won't have an effect, trust me. Problems is if you have an error will be red. That will be a problem. And don't worry, Unreal Engine did a lot with the support for Blender in the last 2 years maybe, so it's a lot better than at the beginning. So don't worry if you use Blender. If you put in the right settings and so on, it will work. Maybe you have to do some final adjustments, but that's then not a big deal. The problem with 3D Max and Maya or other 3D modeling program, they are, as much as I know, not free. Maybe if you know one that is free, you can leave a comment or something like that, so I know, and I can look into it for another time. As far as I know, Blender is the best free 3D modeling software. Doesn't mean that there are not better ones, and you kind of hope that they are better if you pay for them. Man, she's so small. Okay, now you see Unreal Engine. This one is red. Unreal Engine did upload everything, created everything. Did I not? I didn't select. It should make it's okay. Test dummy probably doesn't need, or I can create the physics. Do you want to test the physics? Is that worth it? Testing the physics with the test dummy? For my project, I don't need how can I say it? I don't need full ragdoll physics because it's a turn-based RPG. Most things will be fully animated. There is some kind of this blending between physics and animations. You will see later on when we kind of work with physics a little bit that you kind of have to blend them together. And I mean, if you have if you want to create a game that is completely with ragdoll or anything like that, then you want definitely more, having it more on the ragdoll side and the animation side, less animation side. But I don't need that. I can do it more on the working more with the animations than with the physics. Maybe what I kind of want to do is, like I said before, with clothes and so on, that the clothes move, that the hair move, and so on. What you have here, what took so long was the shading for the material, to calculate the material we uploaded. Let's look at our test dummy. I will now save this one here and go out of Blender. We don't need Blender anymore, and I don't want anything to bother me, have anything. Now we have here our test dummy 2. We see here the material, we see the slot if we had more materials, but we will have with more complicated meshes, of course. You will see all of them here. Then you have again the materials, but here you can select the slots. I may talk about that later on. Maybe import if you have something that can change the material, like some customization, like a piece of cloth. You can different colors, with different texture colors or something like that, and you want to change the material, you need to know the slot. So here you can select the right slot. Then we see here is our skeleton. I don't think we can change that here now, but what we can do is changing the physics asset if we want to. That's the most important things here. Then here we will see the morph targets if we had. We don't have right now. If we have different meshes, like I said, like the body or the weapon with the same skeleton, we can here with selecting. No, not here. Forget what I said. Forget what I said. That's not here. But if you change something now in Blender and you import testdummy2 again, so you overwrite the FBX file. That's important. Overwrite testdummy2 FBX file with a updated version of your testdummy. Then you don't have to go over the import stuff I did before. You just can press here import mesh. There are some problems that you can have if you do it like this. May not detect all the materials you upload, but it may detect the slot. I think, as far as I know, it detects the slots, but not the materials. So you have just to select the material again. You can here change to blue if you want. With morph targets, I always have problems. If you don't have any morph targets, it most of the time won't detect it. So it's good to, if you upload something that will have morph targets but you don't have it on, it's maybe good to at least make one, even if it doesn't change anything, so it's up here. I really have problems with reimport mesh, and then it won't detect the morph targets if the morph targets came in later and you didn't have any before. Maybe we'll go into that a little bit later. I mean, when we make morph targets, maybe I can talk about this problem. And then, yeah, I will go talk about that later. Let's look at this one here. Now we see all our bones, and we can even select. We can do a couple of things here. I said before that you can kinda add sockets here, add socket. Now I said before, because of weapons, you can do that too on you can make a weapon that is just a static mesh and then add it here to the socket, to a socket, like, of course not heads, maybe hands or so, or a finger. I had really trouble absolutely with the sizes and so on, and I just had to do so much corrections in Unreal Engine when I did it with add socket. Maybe they improved that, I'm not sure. You can test it out. There are tutorials out there about sockets. I'm not using sockets. If I make a weapon or an accessoire or anything for my character, I rig it to the skeletal mesh and I upload it as skeletal mesh. Now you will see later on when I create my play character, you can add skeletal mesh to a skeletal mesh, and then you can tell him that it should synchronize the animations and things like that. And then, because it's connected to the, it's rigged to the armature, it will work like this. I hope you can. I will show that in a later stream. I think I go too much into detail, but I just want to kind of show you. And now here you can preview mesh, can change the mesh. We have only testdummy2 for that skeleton. When we had a weapon, we could click on this and look at it. I think I say too much and you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. So that's why I want to show you the physics assets right now. That's not important right now. Unreal Engine, Epic made a very good tutorial how to make a ragdoll physics. You can find that easy in the I think it's on it's even on YouTube. I'm not sure. If you want to play around with the physics right now, you can do it. I will do that a lot later, because it's not something that I absolutely need right now. So maybe not here, edit mode. Maybe I will talk very short about the editor preferences. So here you can kind of change the visuals, so you can add shortcuts if you want, and things like that. The only things I changed is under loading and saving, and I disabled autosave because they annoy me. They always come in the wrong moment, and when it's saving, you can't work anymore until it's finished saving. So you have to get used to save every time if you change something for yourself. So when the engine crashes, you won't lose too much. I still have it rather like that. I mean, you can change the frequency. 10 minutes is extremely short. I mean, I understand why they do that. They send you a warning so you can stop it, but sometimes you just don't see it in the right time. So you can push up these warnings, and you just have to know for yourself. If you want autosave on, then do it. And I'm not sure if this is default, but I'm not sure. But enable VR if you don't work in VR. Anything else you can go through it. I'm sure there are tutorials. I didn't change much here except for the autosave. There is a project settings. I will talk about that a little bit later. Plugins. We may need to install some plugins, but not right now. Yes, so much about importing, so much about the surface of Unreal Engine. One last thing, I work in Unreal Engine 4.17. This is not the newest version of Unreal Engine. There's a 4.20 or something like that. That's probably the newest one. There's a problem that everything higher than 4.17, the engine crashes all the time for me. So it's almost impossible for me. You know what? You can press here save all, and then it will just save everything. That's what I'm doing right now. You see now? Did you see the little symbol here? That means this blue, red. So I changed something now. Now you have this symbol here. That means you have changed something and you need to save it. It's not saved yet. If you press save all here, it saves everything in your project. So use save all instead of autosave. If you have not much in your project, it gets fast. If you have a lot of stuff in your project, this can really slow you down, and that's why I have autosave off, because it can take really long. Yes, now I forgot what I want to talk about. Now we will should it first create the levels or the PC? I think we first need to create a level. So we go here under content, we add a new folder, and we call it level. We add a another folder and I'm calling it tests and test and default. So I will put in here all the levels I need for testing, and I will create the default some kind of default levels. We will talk about that, and then I will kind of copy paste the default levels, and then we create a new level. So on the file new level, you can do an empty level, a VR based level, or a default level. If you want to add your own skybox and everything and do everything yourself, choose empty level. Unreal Engine is so nice, giving you already a default I forgot what sky map and things like that, and also the lightning. The default map, it already has everything basic in it you need for your map. Here you have to create everything yourself, so you have to know what you want to do for yourself. I'm using default. Yes, exactly. Now we created default map, we didn't save it. Does it work with save all? No. Do you have to leave it for? Okay. The problem is we don't have I didn't create a level. That's now annoying. Save the current level. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. We saved the level here. Level test default, and we call it test map. Save. Now it made a test map and it made a build data for the map. And when we look in here, the test map is coming with this atmospheric. I think that's kind of smoke and things like that. The sky fair, player start, a light source, and the floor, so you don't fall down. Now you can play around with the sky map a little bit if you want to, depending on the light. Now you have to the light source. Depending on the location, it will give you day and night, and you can also play around with the atmosphere and things like that, and kind of see what changes. But that's not for now. What you now have to create is a game mode. Actually, 2 game modes, or even 3. I have to see. Let's go back to content, add new folder, game. For now I can only one is okay. Just testing. Add new blueprint game mode base. I call that test game mode. I think I created it a little bit too early. We first need our character, but I can show you. Oh, we don't need that. We only need here the classes. That's the important stuff here in the game mode. You have to find it. If you want to make a multiplayer, you may have to kind of find game session class. I think that's for multiplayer. You can leave that. Game state, you can leave that here. Important player controller, select player controller, nothing else. Player state class, here we will add a player, the player character. Hot class, if we have no, hot is enough. That's okay, we will default pawn class, just leave it with default spectator class. You have to find a tutorial what you want to do here. As far as I know, the most important stuff will be the player state class, because that will define which player character you will use. Let's go out of here, and then we can select here now our test game mode for this map. We can also go into project settings. That will be important later on when we have better structured game than now. Here you can kind of write your project names and things like that. I'm not sure where. Yeah. Here you can select your. Okay, it's project maps and modes. That's engine, that's game, that's project maps and modes. Here that will be important later on. You want to have your. That's less important actually, because you can, like I showed you, you can select for every map. If you can have for every map another game mode if you want. If you just have one game mode, always the same character and so on, you can select it here. So as example, test game mode, I won't do that. You can here select your. Now I'm not sure which one. Editor startup map. Yeah. Here you can select the first map that as soon as you start the game or the editor. Also, now the editor later on the game, also the game. Here you can game default map. This will be kind of like the. I will show you that later, maybe next time. What is the first thing you want the player to see? Maybe some logos and so on, and then you want to jump into the start menu, where you can choose a new game, load the game, and things like that, and just get informations like that. So you can select that, and I will do that show you again later on. I think we should a little bit move on. I still want to show you a couple of stuff here. And okay, let's add a new folder. I didn't want to do that here, sorry. On the content, add new folder. That will be for our play characters. And here we will add a new blueprint. Then here you see actor pawn character. You want to have a character. This has already a pretty good layout. You will see. You can also make your character out of an actor, but the character has already some default values that will help you. So you want to create the character, PC blueprint, a play character blueprint. Let's open this one here, and when we look at it, no, we don't want this here. Okay, what we see here is our play character. What you have here is a capsule. This capsule is for detecting how do you say? I'm sure I find it here. Collisions, for detecting collisions. So for your play character, it's extremely important to have this one here on. Generate overlap. What's the full name? Overlap events. If you have NPC characters, depending on what they do, you may not want this on, trust me. Except they also can trigger, the NPC characters also can trigger events. So maybe if it's more enemy type character, maybe they can trigger events. But for sure you want as player trigger events, so this has to be on. That's for now the most important thing here. You see an arrow that tells you the direction you go. That's this one here. And then you have your skeletal mesh. And here we will add our test dummy. So the orientation is wrong. We can change that here on the transform. That was the wrong way. He is too high. Let's see how big the capsule is. Here, capsule half height is 88. So minus 88. And then he has his feet on the bottom. What you don't want when, yeah, it's off. Generate over. I have had a lot of trouble in the past with that, so that's why I'm checking these things. You can change here if you want the element, giving it the red one. Here, animation class, you can give. We will come to that later. What we now want to add, not here, sorry. Now here I told you that you also could add a new skeletal mesh on this one here, and that this may be the weapon or something like that. But you also can add a static mesh if you rather want to work with sockets. I don't work with sockets. But press on capsule because we want it on this level. Add a spring arm. The let's call it camera spring. Let's add a camera. You see here you can add a lot of things. You can add audio, like I said, skeletal, static mesh. You can add simple forms and things like that. You can also type in here camera. That's maybe faster. Here we have camera and we have scene camera. Choose the normal one. We select it here, and now the camera is connected with the spring arm, and the spring arm is connected with your capsule. That means the camera will always follow you if you move around. So if you had first person, the camera will be different location. You have third person, you kind of want to look at your character from upside down. So we go around 200 high. These are things we can still change if we don't like it is now. And minus 30 degree. And here, target arm distance, you can change the distance. That will be important later on. Let's compile this. Everything is okay. Compiling means Unreal Engine checks if there is no error. It will tell you if there is a warning or an error. We save it. We go to our game mode, test game mode. Now under player state class, we player control class. God damn it. Default pawn. That's it. I'm sorry, I said absolute bullshit before. It's on the default pawn, and we select our PC character. So now Unreal Engine knows which one is our player character. At least as long as we work with this game mode here. Important. I'm sorry, it's default pawn class. Did it already change here? Yeah. Now you see here default pawn. Now you can change here the default pawn class also. I'm not, and you have to be very cautious with that, because maybe you just want to test something, but it will also save in the test game mode if you change it here. So be careful. If you want to test something, rather make a new game mode. It's probably better. Okay. Now, when we go up here, that's now a little bit troublesome. Let's play with a launcher. No, wait. That's not one. Why can't I choose? Now we see it loaded our character, and the camera is the one we added to the PC character. That's what we want. What I didn't want is active play mode here. I want to look at it in a new preview. That's a little better, you see. So I can't do anything right now here. It just loaded my character here, and I can't move around anything like that. That's because we didn't create an controls yet. So now first you have to go to project settings. You have to go to input, and then first you want so I have to check my notes so I don't do anything wrong here. Yes, under action mapping we want two. One is zoom in. I mean, we want to I will do a very basic controls. You can add a lot of more options here. Again, there are for sure a lot of tutorials you can find on YouTube and so on about controlling your play character. I do a very basic one because I only need a very basic one. For my RPG, there are random monster encounters, and I will jump into another map and then control the player via UI. So I don't need a lot of options. What I need is a guy who can walk around. Maybe later on I will add a jump function or something like that, maybe swimming. However, Unreal Engine should detect it by itself if you swim, if you are in water, if you make it correct. I mean automatic, you have to set it up differently. And so on. What I will do now is a guy who can walk around left, right, forward, backward, plus a camera control, so you can control the camera behind the character, and you can also zoom in and zoom out. So for zooming in, zooming out, we use the mouse wheel down, and for zoom out we use mouse wheel up. Then under axis mapping, here we do the control different, we do the moving around. This is only for zooming. So the first one is move forward. So now the good thing with that is you can add a second command, and I will show you why that's important. So move forward, we use the V for forward, sorry, S for backward. And we also, because some people like it to use the arrows up and down, you pitch down. You can also add for the controller if you want that people can control it with the controller. Now scale, if you want to go backwards, you have to tell here it's minus. But that's a good thing with this axis mapping, that you can select for the same command different controls and also change the directions. However, some commands only work with that with this one here. That's why zoom in and zoom out, I have it here. Maybe there is a possibility to do it here with axis mapping and with scaling. I don't know if there is. That's why, but I know I can do it like this. So we add a new one. That's move right. We do similar things. D. We add 3 more. D, A, is it just called right? Yeah. On the left, if you want, so people can also control it as they want. You have a turn. That's not. Yes, what we do now is just that you move in the directions you point. If you want to turn, you have to do it differently. I won't show you that today. Maybe another time, or you for sure find, like I said, there are enough tutorials out there. Don't have to worry about that. What we want is turn the mouse. Okay, yeah, turn the mouse, turn the camera with the mouse. Yeah, actually that's the same thing like turning. So don't worry, I will actually tell you how to do it. And that's mouse X. Now if you want to turn with something else, if you want to turn with left by pressing left right, you can add it here. I forgot to add, let's not forget the minus here. You can also, no, I think you have to do it differently. Don't listen to me. No. Let's just forget turning for now. No, wrong. I want a new one, and that's looking up. And that's mouse Y. That's for turning, will be for turning camera. That's everything for now. There will be probably come more like interactive stuff and things like that. And shortcut, kind of going into menu and things like that. Now we go back to our PC character. Yep. So here is the viewport. Here you can look at your character. Under event graph, here we can make events. So we can forget about them for now. We will mostly create our own events. And it's not important right now to talk about the events. Maybe I will talk a little bit later about events when we... It's 5. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking just now if I show... The stream goes on for a while now. One moment. I'm back in... Yeah. Almost 3 hours and 30 minutes. Sorry about that. I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, I'm working now on that for over 3 hours, almost 3 hours and 30 minutes. So maybe I will do the saving next time, and I will finish this here for sure. Okay, now I lost. Okay, now the first thing we do is we make the turning input turn. I press the right mouse button, sorry, and then you can put here input, and then you see all the commands we made: look up, move forward, move right, and turn. And here we select, we take add. That's a good thing. Unreal Engine has already a code add yaw, add controller yaw input. We connect these two things, and I don't want to simulate it, I want to show you here. Now we can turn our character, and we just turn the character. No, it's okay. Sorry about that. What we want now is to also have the possibility to turn the camera. So we select the camera spring. Here is use pawn control rotation. Select this on. Now the change is not big actually. Right now, maybe I should have done. I will show you later on why I did that. Now we choose input, look up, and add pitch, add controller pitch input, and that's all you have to do. Everything, the moving around, everything will happen here in this code that is already prepared by Epic. What's nice, if we go now back here, we'll see that we can move the camera fully up and down, left and right. What we can't do is move around. So there's a thing that's now sorry, I just want to test something. Yes, exactly. If I don't have this on, you see just my character turns, I can't go up and down. So that's why you have to select use pawn control here on camera spring, use pawn control. Why is that always on simulates? And now you have the full control with the camera. Now we have to add. No, we don't add. Now we add the zoom. Zoom in and zoom out. You see the event is a little bit different. You can have an event for as soon as you press the button, or an event if you release the button. What we also need to add is our spring camera spring. We can just select it and drag it into here, and then press on get, and then we have here a command we can use that is connected with the camera. You can go in here and then here select target arm length and get target arm length. Then here we want to compare float. Now we say here plus 20. We do go here into the input, select here 1000. And I will explain shortly what exactly that means. And then we create here again set target arm length. And now I have to take the right one. Yeah, this one here. And also this one here. So what's that? Target arm length is our spring arm length that is on 300. See here, that's default. You can change that here if you want. We leave it like that for now. Every time you use the zoom in function, that means using the mouse wheel, we jump in for 20. However, first the engine will compare it to, I did something wrong. This one here is not a zoom in, it's a zoom out. Wow, didn't need to delete. That's of course a zoom out. Sorry about that. So now it will look, the engine will now look how long is the arm. Right now it's 300. If you do it the first time, it's 320. It will compare it with 1000. And is it bigger than 1000? Nothing will happen. If it's smaller than 1000, we will move forward and we will go to 320 as example. And we do that to limit our zoom. We don't want to go too far out, or if we don't do that, we just do it forever. And 1000 is probably already extremely. Let's put in 600 and let's test it. So we can move around, and I cannot. One moment. Is it working or? Is it? +5. Why doesn't it work? Maybe I have to check that. I will finish it. Maybe 20, maybe 600 is not. Maybe let's do 1000. I think that's the wrong one. I think that's the wrong one. I think that's the problem. Always have problem with this symbol here. If it's bigger, 1000 is here. If it's smaller than 1000, then we want, yeah. Sorry about that. At least I hope that was the problem. And it wasn't a problem. Yeah. Let me think. Now it's working, but I selected the wrong. Let me see. Did I select the wrong? Let's go look at input. Here, action axis, zoom in, mouse down, zoom out, mouse wheel up. Zoom out. Yeah. Down is against you, up is down is against you, up is away from you. I'm sorry. Mouse wheel up. Okay. Zoom in is away from you, mouse wheel. Zoom out is against you. That makes sense. Yes, now that's what I want. But now I can't zoom in, now I have to do to zoom in. We do very similar like up there, minus, but we add a float that takes away 20 instead of adds 20. From here, compare float, again like up there, input here, and we can leave that alone. That means 0. Compare it to 0. If it is bigger than 0, we will zoom in. If it's lower than 0, nothing will happen. That's what we want to do here. Target. Here. Bigger. So, compile it. Let's see if everything is okay. Save. And let's play. We can zoom out, we can zoom in, and like you can nerf the numbers in how fast you want to zoom in and zoom out, depending on the game mode, how you feel, and so on. Maybe it can be a little bit higher. Okay, now we want to move our character. That's also not too difficult. Forward. No, that's the wrong one, sorry. I want the event. Input. Move forward. Then we wanna here get control rotation, this one here. Then we want to break rotator, and we want here get forward vector, and we will break that down. So we connect the yaw with each other and leave the rest like it is. Then we will do here, like I said, add movement input. We leave this one here, put this one here, and this here. And now it should be possible to move forward and backward. And without animations, but it works. So now we can kind of turn our character. But what we want is also going left and right. For that, yeah, this one. I'm sorry. Let's just write in input, then we get to the move right. What we want here is not forward vector, but get right vector, and then the same, add movement input. Add this one here and this one here, and now with that it should be possible to go left, right, forward, backward. Now, but we have one problem is that we strive. It kind of depends again on the game mode you want. Maybe that's okay for a first-person shooter. For the kind of game I want, for an RPG, I want, if I press in a direction, he should rotate to this direction he moves. So he always moves forward, never sidewards, backwards, or anything like that. Like I said, for a first person game, you may want that, but third person you may not want that, depending on the game mode, maybe even that. And for that we go to I think to the mesh. Now is it here? No, it's not here. Then it's capsule. Oh, come on. No, it's not. Of course. I'm sorry. You have here the character movements. Oh man, I am so sorry. But you have here, you can kind of change the walk speed and so on. You have to know, you have to find out the perfect walk speed for your game by yourself, by changing the numbers here. You can have the swim speed, flying speed, and so on. You have a lot of stuff here. You can nerf and so on. What I want is here under rotation settings. Orient rotation to movement. Yes. Now 360 is not nearly enough if you want to rotate 100%. Maybe I can show you. Shouldn't be a problem. Just that, so you see the effect. So sorry, forwards it doesn't. Backwards you see he kind of turns, but he doesn't fully turn. He has a little bit problems here. So what was the one I think it was over 1000, so it worked. I think you can't really go too high, shouldn't be a problem. Now when you move left, you see he turns to the left side. And even if you go back, no, I fall down. Maybe you can go to, oh no, he turns. He just looks similar from the front, from the back, so I didn't realize it. Yes. So I think that's enough for today. I want to show a lot more, to be honest. I think we do that the next time. What I want to do is changing between the or should I do that now? No, let's do that next time. Make it like you can change the, that's it anyway, not too important right now, that you can change between the characters. Like I have my female character, so I can change between the male and the female with if however you want. I probably will first, for testing, just with a button, pressing a button. And I want to do the saving, but the saving is again something that is maybe more complex than you think it is. You can go look up tutorials on YouTube. You will find 100 tutorials and maybe 80% of them are different than what the others said. So there are many ways to do saving. I did a lot of testing with saving. I won't say that I have the best way to save. your game, but I have a way. I know it works. I know it works for autosave. It works for continuity. If you want to save all the time, it also works if you just want to save for checkpoints or anything like that. I just know how I do it after testing so many times and failing so many times and not getting what I really want. That my way saving it works. Maybe for a different game project, you maybe another version is easier than what I do, but I think the only problem is to setting it up. As soon as it is set up, it's very simple. Yeah, and I think I will show these things next time. So next time we probably will work only in Unreal Engine. We will do the save. Maybe I will do the starting menu so you can start a new game. Then you can maybe make 2 levels so you can see how it kind of works with the saving and so on. Depends on. Yeah, I misjudged the time we will have a lot. Anyway, thank you if you stick around. And I hope I see you in the next stream.